The sky over the frontier planet was dark with smoke and fire. Ryan Carter looked out over the battlefield, his heart steady. He could see the enemy forces landing on the ground, but he was not afraid. Humans had faced worse before. Beside him, Lila Morgan checked her scanner and gave him a nod. She had studied the enemy tactics and found weaknesses that no one else had seen. Ryan turned to his team. Daniel Harris loaded his rifle with calm precision. Others were setting up traps and barriers. Every human on the field knew the risk, but no one hesitated. The enemy thought they would break the humans easily, but they were wrong. Ryan could feel their confidence fading already. The first shots rang out as Daniel fired at a drone that hovered above the battlefield, taking it down in a single hit. The humans moved as one, covering each other and advancing carefully. Lila shouted instructions, telling people where to aim and when to move. The enemy had never faced humans like this before. They expected fear, but they found only courage and sharp minds. Ryan and Daniel ran toward a ridge, using it for cover. From there, they could see the enemy commander trying to coordinate attacks. Lila had already predicted his moves. She directed Ryan to set up a trap using the uneven terrain. Rocks and hidden pits slowed the enemy, and humans were ready to strike. The enemy began to realize that their superior technology was not enough. Humans were unpredictable, and that made them dangerous. Hours passed with fighting back and forth. The humans did not give up. Even when a wave of enemy troops broke through one of the lines, the team quickly regrouped and pushed them back. Daniel was everywhere, shooting with precision, while Lila planned the next move. Ryan moved forward, leading his team with calm authority. No one panicked, no one ran. At one point, a large vehicle approached, carrying heavily armed soldiers. Ryan signaled Daniel, and they lured it into a narrow canyon. The humans had prepared explosives in the rocks. When the vehicle entered, the explosion sent it flying, scattering the enemy forces. The humans cheered quietly, but they did not celebrate too long. There was more work to do, and Ryan knew that. As night fell, fires burned across the battlefield. Ryan looked at Lila and Daniel, seeing the determination in their eyes. The enemy forces were stronger and faster than any humans had seen, but humans were smarter and braver. Every human soldier on the field knew that courage and cleverness could win against overwhelming odds. Ryan raised his hand, signaling the team to gather. He spoke in a low voice that carried across the ridge. Humans were ready to fight again at dawn. They had shown the first wave that fear would not control them. They had taught the enemy that humans were dangerous, not because of weapons, but because of their will and strength. The enemy would have to learn that facing humans meant facing true fear. As the night deepened, Ryan looked at the stars and thought about the battles to come. He felt no fear, only focus and determination. Tomorrow, humans would fight again, and they would teach the enemy another lesson. They would survive, they would win, and they would show that human courage was a force no one could ignore. Dawn broke over the battlefield. Ryan Carter led his team through the smoke and debris from the previous night. Lila Morgan scanned the horizon with her binoculars, spotting enemy movements hidden in the valleys below. Daniel Harris checked his rifle and tightened his grip. Humans were ready to strike again. The enemy forces were regrouping, trying to find weaknesses in the humans. They did not understand that humans did not just fight with weapons. Humans fought with minds, with strategy, and with courage. Ryan studied the enemy lines and whispered instructions to his team. Lila nodded, placing soldiers in positions that would confuse and trap the enemy. A group of enemy soldiers approached a narrow bridge. Ryan signaled Daniel and two others to take position above. When the enemies reached the center, Daniel fired, hitting the supports and causing the bridge to shake. The enemy soldiers lost balance and some fell into the river below. Humans did not celebrate, but the victory gave them confidence. The enemy realized humans would not wait to be attacked. They would attack first and strike where it hurt. Lila pointed to a ridge where more enemy forces were gathering. Ryan led a squad to flank them. The humans moved quickly, using cover and moving silently. Daniel was precise, taking out enemy scouts before they could alert others. The enemy commander tried to order a retreat, but humans anticipated every move. Traps and ambushes slowed them down. Fear began to creep into the enemy ranks. A loud rumble echoed across the valley. A large vehicle, loaded with soldiers, moved toward the human positions. Ryan thought quickly. He signaled Lila, who had already planned the next step. The humans spread out, luring the vehicle into a narrow canyon lined with explosives. As the vehicle entered, it was destroyed, scattering the enemy soldiers. Humans moved in immediately, taking advantage of the chaos. They pushed forward with precision and skill. In the midst of battle, Ryan noticed a group of civilians trapped near a collapsed building. He called for a small rescue team, including Daniel. They ran through debris and fire, saving the civilians while covering each other. Lila coordinated the main attack, making sure no enemy soldiers could interfere. Humans were fighting on multiple fronts, and every action was carefully planned. The enemy commander watched helplessly. It never faced humans who could fight and plan at the same time. Every trap, every counterattack, made them more fearful. Humans had no fear, only determination and skill. The enemy soldiers began to falter, unsure of their next move. Humans took advantage of every hesitation. By midday, the battlefield was a mix of smoke, fire, and fallen enemies. Ryan gathered his team and assessed the situation. Lila pointed out new enemy reinforcements moving toward their position. Humans could not wait. They set up defensive lines while preparing to strike again. The enemy had learned that humans would fight with intelligence, not just brute force. Fear was spreading among them. Ryan looked at Daniel and Leela. They had survived countless battles together, and today was no different. Every human on the field knew that courage and cleverness were stronger than fear. They were ready for the next wave. They would not stop, and they would not retreat. Humans would teach the enemy again, showing that facing humans meant facing true fear. As the sun rose higher, Ryan gave the signal. Humans moved forward, strong and united. The enemy watched in disbelief. They had expected fear, but all they found was determination, strength, and skill. Humans were proving that they were not just fighters, but masters of the battlefield. The enemy would have to remember this day, for it was the day humans showed their true power. The battlefield grew quiet for a moment as both sides regrouped. Ryan Carter and Leela Morgan moved among their troops, checking positions and giving orders. Daniel Harris patrolled the edges, keeping watch for any sudden attacks. Humans were ready for whatever came next. They had learned to fight with skill and patience. Queen Elizabeth Hayes arrived at the front lines. Her presence inspired every soldier. She did not wear fancy armor, only practical gear, but her confidence and authority commanded respect. She walked among the soldiers, encouraging them and showing that even the highest leader shared the danger. Ryan and Lila reported to her, explaining the enemy movements and their plans. The Queen listened carefully and made small changes to improve the defense. A group of enemy forces advanced toward the humans' position. Queen Elizabeth stood with her sword ready, leading a small squad. Humans moved forward, attacking the enemy with precision. Daniel fired from a high ledge, taking out key targets. Lila directed the soldiers, making sure each movement was coordinated. The enemy was strong, but humans were smarter and faster. The Queen moved like a storm through the enemy lines, striking fear into them. She fought with skill and strength, showing that humans could be deadly without any special technology. Ryan and Daniel followed her, supporting the attack. Humans were not afraid of the enemy numbers. They used the terrain, traps, and clever tactics to control the battlefield. The enemy began to panic, unable to predict what the humans would do next. Lila found a weak point in the enemy formation. She signaled Ryan, who led a team to flank them. Humans attacked from the side and behind, creating confusion. Daniel covered them from above, taking out soldiers who tried to regroup. The enemy commander shouted orders, but humans anticipated every move. Fear spread among the invaders. They'd never seen humans fight like this before. The Queen saw an enemy vehicle approaching. She ran forward with a small squad and planted explosives. When the vehicle exploded, it threw enemy soldiers into chaos. Humans moved quickly, exploiting the disorder. They advanced with speed and precision. The Queen fought at the front, cutting down anyone who tried to escape. The enemy realized that humans were not only tough, but also fearless and organized. As the sun climbed higher, the humans held the battlefield. Ryan checked on his team. Everyone was alive and focused. Leela analyzed the remaining enemy forces, predicting their next move. Daniel spotted scouts trying to sneak away and took them out quietly. Humans were relentless. They had learned that fighting with courage and strategy was more important than numbers or weapons. The queen gathered the soldiers for a quick meeting. She spoke clearly and firmly, reminding them that humans could overcome any threat with unity and intelligence. Every soldier felt stronger and more confident. They understood that their courage could shape the outcome of the battle. Humans had shown the enemy that fear belonged only to those who underestimated them. As the battle continued into the afternoon, humans pushed the enemy back. Ryan, Daniel, and Lila worked together, coordinating attacks and defending positions. Queen Elizabeth led from the front, proving that humans could be leaders and fighters at the same time. The enemy realized they could not break human spirit. Fear had taken root among them, while humans stood strong. By evening, the humans controlled the battlefield. They did not celebrate loudly, but they knew they had won the day. The queen praised the soldiers for their courage and intelligence. Ryan and Leela planned for the next move, knowing the enemy would return. Humans had shown their power, and the enemy would never forget the day they faced humans at their strongest. The humans were not finished. Dawn arrived, and Ryan Carter moved his team through the city that had been damaged in previous battles. Smoke rose from collapsed buildings. Civilians were still trapped, and humans had to protect them while fighting. Leela Morgan examined the enemy positions and identified a route that could lead them to the enemy command center. Daniel Harris checked his weapons and joined Ryan. Every human knew the risk, but they had no fear. The enemy had reinforced their positions, expecting humans to be weak after previous clashes. They did not understand that humans fought not only with strength, but with strategy. Ryan led his squad through alleys and ruins, avoiding traps and ambushes. Lila directed teams to set hidden defenses in case the enemy tried to attack from behind. Humans were always prepared, always thinking ahead. Suddenly, a group of enemy soldiers appeared at the edge of the plaza. Ryan signaled Daniel and two others to take cover. They fired with precision, taking down the enemies one by one. The humans advanced steadily. Lila saw more enemy reinforcements approaching from the north. She quickly redirected teams to create crossfire positions. The enemy commander realized too late that the humans were controlling the battlefield. A loud noise shook the ground as a heavy vehicle entered the city streets. Ryan signaled for a trap. Explosives planted in the street were detonated, halting the vehicle and sending enemy soldiers into disarray. Humans used this chance to strike hard. Daniel climbed to a high rooftop, providing cover while the soldiers advanced. Leela coordinated every movement, ensuring humans were always one step ahead. In the middle of the city, a collapsed building held civilians. Ryan led a rescue team while other soldiers covered them. Daniel helped carry people to safety, showing no hesitation even when enemy fire was near. Lila organized defensive lines, keeping the enemy away from the rescue route. The humans worked together as one, combining strength, skill, and strategy. Queen Elizabeth Hayes appeared again at the front lines. She moved through enemy fire with confidence, inspiring every human around her. She fought fiercely when needed, but her presence also gave guidance and hope. The Queen made a clear path for civilians to escape while humans attacked enemy strongholds. Ryan and Lila followed her orders, knowing her insight was invaluable. By midday, humans had pushed deep into enemy territory. They captured strategic points and destroyed enemy weapons. Every move was calculated. The enemy was forced to retreat in small groups, confused and afraid. Humans had shown them that fear could be used against anyone who underestimated them. The enemy commander struggled to regroup, knowing his forces were weakening. Ryan gathered his team in a safe location. They checked on every soldier, ensuring no one was left behind. Lila analyzed the enemy movements and found weaknesses in their defenses. Daniel spotted scouts trying to escape and stopped them quietly. Humans did not celebrate, but they were proud. They had survived the most dangerous attacks and had gained ground. The Queen addressed the troops, praising their courage and intelligence. She reminded them that humans were strongest when they were united. Every soldier understood that humans fought with a combination of skill, strategy, and bravery. The enemy would have to face them again, and when they did, humans would be ready. Fear would remain their greatest weapon, but only in the hands of those who knew how to use it. As evening approached, the city was mostly under human control. Ryan, Daniel, and Leela planned the next moves. Humans had proven that courage and intelligence could overcome any odds. The enemy had learned the hard way that humans did not surrender easily, and that fear was a force they could wield against anyone who challenged them. The battle was far from over, but humans had already shown their true power. The enemy was in retreat, but Ryan Carter and his team knew they could not let them regroup. Leela Morgan studied the remaining enemy forces and calculated their next moves. Daniel Harris checked his weapons and followed Ryan through the damaged streets. Humans had no fear, only determination and focus. They were ready to strike again. Queen Elizabeth Hayes joined the front lines, standing tall and confident. Her presence inspired every soldier. She did not fight recklessly, but she showed the humans that courage was stronger than fear. Humans moved forward with precision. They set traps and ambushes along the enemy paths. Every step was planned, every attack coordinated. A group of enemy soldiers tried to escape through a narrow canyon. Ryan signaled Daniel and others to take higher ground. When the enemies entered the canyon, explosives detonated, blocking their escape. The humans attacked from above, leaving no chance for the enemy to regroup. Fear spread through the enemy ranks. They had never faced humans who could plan and fight with such skill. Leela discovered an enemy super weapon being moved to the city. She called Ryan and the Queen. They decided to sabotage it before it could be used. Ryan led a small team, including Daniel, toward the location. They moved quietly, using cover and avoiding enemy patrols. When they reached the super weapon, humans worked fast. They planted explosives and prepared to retreat. The enemy commander tried to stop them, but humans were too quick and precise. As the explosives detonated, the super weapon was destroyed. The explosion sent enemy soldiers fleeing in panic. Humans advanced immediately, taking advantage of the chaos. The Queen fought at the front, showing her skill and bravery. Every human soldier on the field followed her lead. The enemy could not stop them. Fear had taken hold among the invaders. Ryan gathered his team for a quick check. Every soldier was accounted for, and civilians in the area were safe. Lila analyzed enemy positions and noticed reinforcements approaching from the north. Humans did not hesitate. They prepared defenses while planning the next attack. Daniel took position on a high ledge, covering the team and taking out any threats before they could reach the humans. The enemy tried to regroup, but humans anticipated every move. Ryan led a flanking attack, striking from an unexpected direction. Lila coordinated the main assault, while Daniel provided cover fire. Humans were relentless, showing that courage and strategy could overcome any odds. The enemy began to collapse under pressure. Their commander realized too late that humans were masters of the battlefield. By evening, humans had secured the area and captured key positions. They did not celebrate loudly, but they knew they had won another important victory. The Queen addressed the troops, praising their courage, intelligence, and unity. She reminded them that humans were strongest when they fought together and planned carefully. Every soldier felt pride and confidence in their abilities. Ryan looked at his team. Leela and Daniel had proven themselves again. Humans had shown that they could face any threat and turn fear into their weapon. The enemy would have to remember this day and think twice before attacking again. Humans had taught them that courage, strategy, and intelligence could dominate even the strongest foe. Fear was a tool humans could use better than anyone else, and today they had shown it once more. The humans prepared for the final attack. Ryan Carter gathered his team early in the morning. Lila Morgan studied the enemy headquarters and identified weak points. Daniel Harris checked his weapons and nodded to Ryan. Humans had no fear. They only had focus and determination. Every soldier knew the mission was dangerous, but they were ready. Queen Elizabeth Hayes led the front line. She moved with confidence, showing every human soldier that courage could overcome any danger. Ryan and Lila coordinated the attack from different positions. Humans would strike together, fast and precise. The enemy had no idea what was coming. As the humans advanced, enemy forces tried to defend their headquarters. Ryan led a small team to infiltrate the building. Daniel covered him from a rooftop, taking out guards silently. Lila directed attacks from other points, making sure humans had the advantage everywhere. The enemy commander realized the humans were not ordinary fighters. They were skilled, brave, and unstoppable. Inside the enemy headquarters, Ryan and his team faced heavy resistance. Every corner had soldiers ready to fight. Ryan signaled Daniel and others to move carefully. Humans took down enemies one by one, using strategy and teamwork. Elizabeth appeared at the front, cutting through enemy lines with skill. Her presence inspired humans to fight harder and never give up. Outside, Leela noticed enemy reinforcements approaching. She quickly directed humans to set traps and ambushes. When the enemy arrived, they found themselves under constant attack. Humans used every advantage, from terrain to explosives. Fear spread among the enemy ranks. They realized that humans did not fight for survival alone, but with intelligence and courage that no one could match. Ryan moved through the headquarters, reaching the enemy commander. The two faced each other directly. Ryan did not hesitate, fought with skill and strength. Every move was calculated. Queen Elizabeth joined the fight, showing her mastery in combat. The enemy commander was overwhelmed. Humans were not just fighters, they were masters of strategy and fear. Meanwhile, Daniel and Lila kept controlling the battlefield. Every enemy soldier that tried to escape was stopped. Humans moved with speed and precision. They had planned every attack and counterattack. Fear had taken control of the enemy. They could not fight with confidence anymore. Humans had shown them what true courage meant. By midday, the enemy headquarters was under human control. Ryan, Leela, and Daniel regrouped with Queen Elizabeth. Every human soldier was accounted for, and the area was secure. The enemy had lost their will to fight. Humans had used courage, skill, and intelligence to win. They had turned fear into a weapon against the enemy. Elizabeth addressed the troops, praising their bravery and unity. Humans had shown that they could face the strongest threats and prevail. Ryan looked at his team and nodded. They had completed a dangerous mission, proving that humans were unstoppable when they fought together. The enemy would never forget the day humans showed the true meaning of fear. As the sun set, humans stood victorious. Every soldier felt pride and strength. They had fought with courage, strategy, and determination. The battle was won, and humans had demonstrated that fear was a weapon only they could wield fully. The galaxy would remember this day, for humans had proven their true power and dominance. The enemy had been defeated, but humans knew the fight was not over. Ryan Carter, Lila Morgan, and Daniel Harris moved through the captured headquarters, ensuring no hidden threats remained. Every soldier was alert. Humans had learned that even after victory, caution was important. Queen Elizabeth Hayes stood with them, calm and focused, a symbol of strength to every human around her. Humans began organizing the area, helping civilians and rebuilding defenses. Ryan led teams to clear rubble and make safe paths. Lila analyzed remaining enemy forces and discovered that some small groups were trying to escape. Humans pursued them carefully, not rushing, but always ready to strike. Daniel took position on a ridge, spotting any movements and taking precise action. Humans had control of the battlefield completely. Queen Elizabeth addressed the soldiers, praising their courage and intelligence. She reminded them that humans were strongest when they fought together and planned carefully. Fear had been a tool against the enemy, but humans had turned it into a weapon. The remaining enemy forces were now terrified, knowing that humans could strike anywhere, anytime. Ryan felt pride in his team. They had survived countless battles, and today they had proven their power. The enemy commander was captured and brought before the Queen. He looked around, seeing humans standing tall and confident. He realized that his forces had underestimated them. Humans had shown that courage, strategy, and unity could overcome even the strongest opposition. The commander had learned the true meaning of fear. Humans were not to be underestimated. Ryan, Lila, and Daniel debriefed with Queen Elizabeth. They discussed the next steps to ensure peace and security. Humans would remain vigilant, ready for any new threat. Every soldier understood the lesson. Courage and intelligence were as powerful as any weapon. The enemy had fled in fear, knowing that humans were masters of the battlefield. As the sun set, the humans gathered to rest. Fires burned in the distance, lighting the sky with smoke and shadows. Soldiers shared quiet conversations, reflecting on the battles they had survived. Ryan looked at Leela and Daniel, knowing they had fought well together. Queen Elizabeth moved among the soldiers, offering encouragement and guidance. Humans had won not only through strength, but through planning, courage, and unity. The next morning, humans began preparations to leave the area and move to the next mission. Ryan, Lila, and Daniel checked every team member, ensuring no one was left behind. The Queen gave orders for future defenses and strategies. Humans had proven that they could face any challenge and triumph. Fear belonged to those who underestimated them. Humans had shown that courage, intelligence, and determination could dominate any enemy. The enemy forces would remember this day for a long time. They had seen humans fight with skill, strategy, and fearlessness. The Queen, Ryan, Lila, and Daniel had led humans to victory and taught the galaxy that humans were a force to be reckoned with. Every soldier on the battlefield had learned the true meaning of fear. It was not something humans felt, but something they inspired in others. Humans stood together, ready for whatever came next. They had survived, fought, and won. They had shown that intelligence, courage, and unity could turn fear into a weapon. The Queen praised them once more. Ryan, Lila, and Daniel looked at each other, knowing that humans had proved their power and that the galaxy would never forget the day humans taught the true meaning of fear.